Parapsychology Today, a program of investigation into the realms of the unknown. Suspend your mind for a moment and journey to a world beyond the five senses. Parapsychology Today is a program exploring ideas, theories, and concepts that have been around since ancient times. We'll journey to outer worlds and inner worlds. We'll look into such phenomena as past lives, UFOs, and hauntings. And we'll explore psychic ability as it relates to human potential. We do not intend to prove or persuade, but rather present theories and personal stories of ventures into the world of parapsychology. Whatever your beliefs, we hope this program will start you thinking about a reality beyond the five senses.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Parapsychology Today. I'm your host, Pauline Nortness. We have a very fascinating topic today. It's called Manifesting Miracles. Now, who doesn't want to do that? My guest today is Jan Engels Smith, and she's going to be joined by Cynthia Sue Larson. So, Jan, since this is about the topic you've done, please tell us a little bit about your background before we get started.
Sure. I started my career as a science teacher in biology and chemistry, and then I went into psychotherapy. And from psychotherapy, I had a vision, an apparition, and that changed my life completely, where I had a Native woman approach me and said, "You're to learn these ways." And that was the ways of the shaman, which I did, and doing soul retrieval work. I took a couple of years to figure out what all that was. I didn't even know what the word meant. And a move across the country. And I started my practice and did over 3,500 soul retrievals in that time of about 30 years. I retired in 2021, and now I started the Manifesting Miracles gatherings. Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. We'll talk about that soon. But another gal is joining us, Cynthia Sue Larson. And this is your topic, but Cynthia's got a lot to add to it. Cynthia, give us your background, please.
Yes, well, I've recently been writing books on the topics of mind-matter interaction, such as quantum jumps, reality shifts, the Mandela effect, and its society, and books like that. So basically, the reason I'm doing that is because I've had a number of spiritual experiences all through my life. And I'm not going to go into all of that right now, but I have a deep passion for helping humanity understand that we are all capable of exerting influence on the material world, much more than we've been taught. So I'm here to support Jan and what you guys are doing on the show.
Well, Jan, manifesting miracles. First off, let's define the word miracle.
Miracle is something that happens where you don't think it possibly can, or is something that you definitely want to happen and unsure if it can happen. And so when it does happen, it feels miraculous, like something absolutely changed. And I think that definition would be different for everyone. But the way that we started off with is, what do you really want to manifest in your life? And it can be as miraculous as you want it to be, as out there, if you want to call it, like really reaching for the stars, so to speak.
Our show's out there, so out there is a good word.
Good. Yes, I like out there.
What prompted you? What prompted you to start doing this? I mean, you were busy doing your other work and you retired, and then you started something else again. Were you bored?
Yes, that's exactly right. And my husband had passed away of 35 years.
Sorry.
And I went through that mourning process and then decided that I needed to start my life differently. And a good way to do that would be to retire. I'm a very adventuresome person, and I like to go on adventures. I like to travel a lot. My business was so big and the school was so thriving that I could tell you what I was going to do 2 years from then at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I was very booked in, and I didn't want to live my life that way. I wanted to move into a different part of my expression through mostly adventure. And so I travel a lot. I've always traveled around the world, but now I was traveling for pleasure instead of cultural reasons.
That's great. Now, you call this a gathering, not a class. How come you're calling this a gathering?
Because it's free and I don't expect to teach. It's really based on, I'm not coming in with a lesson plan and a curriculum like I used to with my shamanic teachings. This is based on your questions, your needs. What is happening for you, and how can we look at this from a different perspective, a shamanic perspective? And in the shamanic perspective, we're engaging what we would call things that are not in this reality just yet, and a different approach to looking at problems, to looking at how to make solutions, and including the spirit realm in that, the beings that don't have physical bodies, but yet they're influencing you every moment of your life, if you choose to. I mean, you can say no to them for sure. At Light Song, which was the school that I founded, and she's also an entity, an ascension entity, we only work with compassionate, benevolent beings. We don't get into any of the dark stuff. We just work with compassionate, loving beings so that we're always safe, and we spend a lot of time making sure that the container for people to work is very, very safe. And so I call it a gathering because we're just gathering together of like-minded people. People need community today. You can really feel like you're isolated, especially when you have a different mindset than the normal population that might be surrounding you and your family or friends. And you need a place that you can freely ask questions and get positive, healthy guidance and direction from either I'm actually channeling almost the entire time that I'm speaking. I rarely am at the helm of my words. It's always coming through the spirits.
Now, manifesting is a feeling process since everything is energy. Let's see. Do you have to be in the same vibration as what you want? And how do you do this? How do you get into that vibration?
That's a great question. Good job, Pauline. Thank you for that question. I love it.
Cynthia probably wants to add to that one. I see you smiling. So I'll let you go first. Let you go first.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Well, I like to feel, when you talk about vibrations, one thing that comes to mind is like the Hawkins scale, if you're familiar with that. And people, of course, you guys know, but if people are listening, they have no idea what I'm talking about. The Hawkins scale is basically a way to sort of gauge where you're at sort of on an energetic, emotional level. What I mean by that is if you're, we all know, or maybe most of us in America know people that occasionally get angry and they're just in that anger. So that's kind of low on the scale. And then come on grief and just being constantly feeling victimized. And, the people that are constantly talking about that, that's pretty low. I think America's scores around 400 or 500 on the scale. That's mid-range, so not complaining too much, but kind of. And then as you go up higher and higher, I love it around the 6, 7, 8, 900s. That's my I love it. Mm-hmm. So when I notice I'm up there in the reverence, in the gratitude, in the how good can it get area, that is my experience of where things open wide open, and I see stuff like, seriously, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. And so it just and what I think what's interesting for me is to learn to practice that no matter how things may seem like they're going wrong, like there have been times all my buttons have gotten pushed. I'm not just I look Pollyanna to a lot of people, but I walk my talk because sometimes all the buttons do get pushed. And then I get the opportunity to recognize, it's an opportunity to really go up through those levels of relaxed, even though I'm feeling fight or flight, I'm feeling terrified. All my buttons are getting pushed. There's been a betrayal. My home is threatened. My money is threatened. I'm in court. It involves taxes. It's like, then it's like, oh, is this a joke? This is funny. So but it doesn't feel funny. And every day I need to remind myself, just like, let's just go back up into that bliss. And I'd ask myself, if I'm in the thick of one of these, every button getting pushed, I just ask, what best can I be doing today? Is this the day that I need to hire the attorney? And my guide's like, nah. I'm like, really? We're going to skip that again today? Okay. Well, I guess I'll just keep going up, 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 up. And yeah, then miracles do occur. And they consistently, that does happen. I do witness it. I do work with clients that way too. So I see it for myself, for others. It really does work. That's not to say it's easy. It's simple, yes. Easy, maybe not.
Now, I did participate in some of your classes or your gatherings, Jan. So I want to ask you, let's talk about, because in it I wrote down, talk about your belief system and how it's stored in your chakras, because you mentioned that, how your belief system's stored in your chakras. Can you address that?
Absolutely. I believe that that is where your belief systems are stored, mostly from the throat down, not so much in the head. And then these belief systems, whatever that is, broadcasts out of your body, and that creates your auric fields. Now, I missed your presentation on the auric fields, Cynthia, but this is the way that I've seen it with my work. It broadcasts out into your auric fields, and then those auric fields, it's like you're a cell tower, and you're broadcasting these fields, and then you attract to you then a frequency of similar vibration. So if you're angry all the time, if you're bitter, if you feel like you are often betrayed, love isn't for you, you are going to attract situation after situation after situation that will prove that to be true. Everybody can prove their belief systems to be true because that's how it works. Everybody's belief system is true. And so we part of your self-development is to take a look at what do you actually believe? Because the spirits will say, you can't trick energy. You can't say one thing and believe another. Your belief is always going to override your words. And so we look at that a lot, like how do you know what you actually believe? And if you listen to a person, they'll reveal it pretty soon, but they need to reveal it for themselves. Like I do lousy in relationships, but I just don't trust men. Oh, okay, there it is. You don't trust men. You have to work on that. And I always tell people, if you want your life to change, if you want things to be different, you have to change inside. It's the belief systems that change. It's how you're feeling has to change. Now, some people, that can be an overwhelming task. So I say, start simple. Think of 10 positive words that you know, okay? Radiance, illuminant, grateful, appreciative, blissful. Just me saying that, what's happening in your body? Pauline, can you tell me?
Yeah, your vibration's getting high. You're feeling good.
You're starting to
I know,
feel
so
good.
every time you email me, you go radiant Pauline, and it makes me feel good.
Yeah, and so if you just did that, as soon as you got into the car, before you're pulling out and just said high frequency words, just from point A to point B, you're working on your vibration, and you watch what happens when you get to where you're going. It's like a totally different experience. And so we start small, but we start making people conscious of, what are they broadcasting out? Are you mad right now? Are you upset right now? Well, we want to put a stop in there and just say, stop. I'm going to say 10 words here. And you start small, but it starts being immediately effective because it only takes 16 seconds to change your vibration. That is a very small amount of time. 16 seconds, it's changed. You start bringing in a different attraction level. Some people will call it the laws of attraction. My spirits have always called it the laws of creation, and you just start bringing in a different level of what you're creating in your life. You have to be a match energetically, frequency-wise, what you were saying, feeling-wise. You can't say, oh, I'm a lousy employee and expect a great job. It's like, so we look at what do you ultimately believe? Because that is steering the ship for you in your life. if you believe in doom and gloom, if you believe that there's aliens that are going to invade you and rob you of your consciousness, it's pretty horrifying. And belief systems are choices, nothing more. You get to choose whatever you want to believe in. There's no absolute right way to believe. It's all a choice. So that's where we go from.
Is this part of the God consciousness?
It can be. It is part of, it depends on what you mean. There's a book called God Consciousness. Is that what you're referring to?
Or? I think I have a book on that, yes.
I call it that more in my world, it would be the Christ consciousness.
Okay, Christ consciousness, yeah.
Yeah, of, just living in a positive belief that possibilities exist. I have a little poster or framed picture in my office that said, I dwell in possibilities. It's kind of like Cynthia's, how good can it get?
Right.
What is your baseline belief? That will show up in your life, and you'll see evidence of it all over the place and how your life is unfolding.
Now, we mentioned gratitude too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there. I wasn't looking up. Why is gratitude important in creating miracles?
Because gratitude is one of the highest frequencies that a human can feel. Gratitude and appreciation are way up there, where you are just in this place of thankfulness. We are limited in our abilities to feel emotions, much more limited than like a divine being like that we work with in shamanism. And that's one of the reasons we work with them, to teach us what some of these clear feelings feel like, because we can merge with them and have experiences. But as humans, gratitude and appreciation are about the highest we can get to in our everyday awareness. Now, you can work on that and hit higher levels, of course, which I know Cynthia Sue can do, and I know I can do. But it comes with practice.
I keep a gratitude journal, and I try to write in it.
Yeah.
Cynthia, how do you find gratitude helps you?
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love to practice it as much as I can, and just remind myself of things that I can be grateful for, that I've had something to do with each day, if I'm able to. I try to keep track of miracles that are happening, actually.
Oh, really?
Because it's occurred to me when I've had conversations with the divine that I'm not catching most of them. Like if I got a question to me, like how many miracles happened, or at what frequency are they happening? And I'm thinking, well, at least a few a day.
Really?
And it's just, it's way more than that. I just got so much laughter in response. I'm like, it's more, it's like a lot more. Like, oh.
Really? Wow.
Really.
I got to look for them now.
But that goes dovetails with what Jan's saying about these levels of love that are so far, we're in such a little, just like our senses are so compact, a little smidge of, visible range, visible spectrum. And that's the same thing with the emotions.
That's right.
So you can well imagine how many miracles are going on if we're only in an emotional range that matches our visual range. What do you think we're missing? Like, oh my goodness.
The spirits put it on a timeline for me one time that was really helpful. If good and bad on a timeline amounted to 24 hours in a day, that we're concentrating on the bad, but really 23 hours and 10 minutes is good.
Wow.
And 10 minutes is bad, but that's where we put all of our focus. And that's the reality that we then create for ourselves. But in life in general, they said if you just looked at it in the miracle of life, it's 23 hours and 50 minutes.
What caught me the other day, I something happened and I said, oh, darn it. And then I remembered the secret. The guy gets out of bed, stubs his toe, and he's negative all day long. So bad things happen. But I turned it around and said, today's going to be a good day. So I tried to turn the negative thing that happened to me into a positive. So,
and you made a declaration.
I mean,
that declaration popped you into a new reality.
So does it help too to be around like-minded people?
Absolutely. You're influenced by people all the time. And that's why I started this group, because people need each other. And the school was such a huge community-based function that when I retired and everything closed down, people were floundering, and I was floundering. I didn't realize how much I needed those conversations. My new relationship, he's a medical doctor, and so that really was a new conversation.
How so?
Well, because he is completely science-based, and I wasn't used to that. You know, I always thought it was a great blend, but I don't go completely science-based.
Right.
And so it was good for me. I had to learn how to honor all of that, as well as hold my own. And I found that being with other like-minded people helps support all of us together. We need each other. We need each other. And our phones and our computers and the way that we work now is too isolating. And it's creating great loneliness in people because they're not really connecting heart to heart, you know.
I'm following you because I'm feeling that. I'm a people person. I love to be around people. And you're right. I hate to see the young kids nowadays on their stuff. When I was a kid, I was out playing. I was climbing trees and, cliffs and things and falling off roofs. But, I had a good time anyway. So it does help to be around like-minded people. Now, Jan, you mentioned your school. So tell us a little about Light Song School. You started that, didn't you?
I did. And like I said, I retired. So the school in its normal operation is not functioning anymore. But I still run 3 classes out of that because, again, they're foundational classes that I think are very, very important for people to know how to do. And the first one is how to journey. How do you connect with your spiritual allies and connect with them? Journeying is a very foundational, old, traditional way of doing it. There's lots of ways of doing it, but journeying is the way that I do it. And I think that if people learned how to do that, especially at a younger age, the guidance that they would have throughout their life would redirect them in ways that they can't even imagine at this point. So I teach that class once a year. And then I have 2 other ones called Recreate Yourself, which again is based on all of the things that we're talking about with how do you recreate and change your belief systems, change the way that you view the world, and get more of the frequency, become more of the frequency that you need to be in order to really manifest the things that you want in life.
Don't you have a book called Recreate Yourself?
Those are pre-recorded, on-demand things. My book is called Becoming Yourself.
Oh, that was it. Becoming Yourself, yes. Because I'm on both your emails, so I get that information. We already talk about right brain versus the left brain and why it's important to stay in your right brain as much as possible.
Right. The right brain has taken a back seat in our culture and now, unfortunately, around the world as people have become more westernized. But the right brain is where all the magic is. It's where the spirits reside. It's where the multiple realities reside. And also there's no ego in the right brain. And there's only presence. There's no past and there's no future. So most of us are going to determine what we're doing because we have had a past event. That's that ego intercepting in and saying, well, this happened before, so this is going to be what's going to happen now. That doesn't take place in the right brain. So we do what I call giving the right brain more airtime. You have to spend more time over there to learn what it feels like to be in the right brain. And that's why I practice either journeying or meditation or some sort of activity that's going to keep me active in that right brain. And that's where miracles just start to happen. It doesn't have to be cause and effect. Like you don't have to have one thing happen to make another thing happen. The best example I can give of this is dreaming. You're in a room and then you're on a mountain. Well, you didn't have a path there. You're just there. It's a now, and that's the way the right brain works. It's a nowness. And if you talk about the oneness of life, that's a right brain, that you're all one. There's no hierarchy there. There's no judgment there because there's no ego there. So we need to spend time in that right brain, which is basically a theta delta wave, basically. Heart energy is another synonymous word, to see what it feels like, because that's where you're going to learn the different feelings of bliss and euphoria and ecstasy. In fact, the old word for shamanic journey was an ecstatic experience. It was an ecstasy experience. Cynthia Sue, what are you going to say about that?
Oh, I love that word ecstasy, because stasis is stuck. It's kind of like static and stuck, and it's almost like, ooh, that's not good. Ecstasy, I love it. It's very high vibe, high frequency. Right. Yeah, I love what you're talking about. And it's so important for people now, especially in this culture where I think people are feeling like we've hit a dead end. Everything has to end, but what are we going to go to next? And so I think what you're really showing is the way forward. We're talking about miracles, but it's really very practical. And even people who are scientific and who love that approach, they can start to see the wisdom of this too. And they can see it through mathematics if they're into that, like something, the idea of a Markov chain, for example. I was just looking at that today. It shows that the situation you're in right now does not need to be moving forward based on all the pattern of the past or even the most recent decision. It could be completely different.
Completely different.
And so we can bring this kind of language to the people. We're not saying we don't want to talk to the left brainers, and we're saying like, come with us, enjoy the journey. And there are indications and signs everywhere. It's time. And it's time for building a new world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, you can't be completely in your right brain. If you could, you couldn't talk. There's language over there.
That could be
or you wouldn't
people.
be able to tell yourself different from the chair because it's a oneness. You blend into the one. But giving it some more airtime where you can actually feel these feelings of, I think, your truth, who you're really made up of, which is your God self, your oneness with consciousness. It's an experiential thing. And in the gatherings that I do, and anybody's welcome, Pauline, you can tell your audience that this is a free service that I offer. It's bi-monthly on Sundays at 10 o'clock Pacific time. And we just gather and everybody's welcome.
I noticed one thing about it too. You always seem to know the right answers. So, people, no, you do. You give somebody will ask a question and go, oh my God, I wonder how you, and you always come up with a great answer.
That's because it's not me, it's the spirits talking.
The spirits now that I know that. I wanted to ask you too, if you keep your vibration high, will you stay healthy?
Well, in shamanism, every illness is seen as a discord in the body. There's some sort of off vibration. So the answer to that would be yes. However, life is life. And as Cynthia Sue mentioned somewhere in these three conversations that we've had, we have opportunities for growth. So I think when things, people will say, oh, I'm doing all this stuff. Why would this happen? Why would I get sick? These are opportunities. It's not to take you that you're doing something wrong. This is a new growth spurt for you. How are you going to manage this situation? So I believe that we're always evolving, always growing if we choose to look at life that way, not be taken down by situations. Yes. So I don't want to make a false picture that you do these things and your life is going to be rose-colored. It is not the case. I mean,
yeah, and that reminds me of a book that Cynthia recommended, and I have. It's called Dying to Be Me. This woman had a terrible disease, and she died. Well, there was a good reason she had it, because she died and came back and brought beautiful information back with her. Yeah, so she went through a negative thing, but turned into real positive. I love
Yeah.
that book, Dying to Be Me. I read it. Yeah, it's a great book. Now, last question I have here, is meditation important to help you manifest, and how?
I think manifestation, did you say manifestation or meditation?
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry.
Well, no, I used both of them. I said, is meditation important to help you manifest?
Okay. Meditation to me, and I've been an active meditator since I was a teenager, it helps you learn how to control your mind. Most people's minds are off the chart. They call them monkey minds. They don't have a stillness
me.
to yeah.
Just call
And
me
when
monkey.
you can learn how to be still in your mind, which is a meditation practice, you realize that your mind is not you. It's just a tool.
Right.
Your consciousness is you, but you have to get in there and hear it. But when you have a little chatter going on constantly, often people don't hear it. So to me, I love meditation, but I love journeying more, because journeying is more interactive with my allies, and I love that too. So, but it's just different styles. I know Cynthia Sue has a completely different meditation style, which is great. You find the one that works for you and you develop it. And mastery is when your mind is not in control.
Well, I noticed one thing. Sometimes I'm thinking of too much stuff, and it doesn't help me. But there's a guy who, Eckhart Tolle, he wrote In the Now. I've got that book. It's
The
perfect.
Power of Now.
I try to stay in present. All the miracles happen in the present time, don't they?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to end soon. So, last words, Jan, and then I'll go to Cynthia, see if she has some last words too.
I think my last words are that there is tremendous help available to any person, no matter what their situation is. And if that speaks to you, you're welcome to join in this service that I'm offering. But if you want the world to change, if you want things to be different, you have to say, I'm willing to change. The world never changes, you change. And then you see a different world.
That makes sense to me. Good last words. Anything, Cynthia?
Oh, it's hard to top that, and just
Pretty
wish
good.
the best for everyone. I know. I love stillness, so that would be something. If you feel like things are going too fast, you can slow your thoughts down. Even if you just take a few moments and just slow it down to a complete stop, you get into that total present moment, which is the absolute. And I love that. So for me, that's very high vibe. And if I hang out in like 20 minutes, then wow, that's amazing. So just mentioning that one in case people want to try it. And of course, I want to wish the best for everyone and wish that you can all discover how good can it get.
Yes. And the last thing I was thinking about was breath. I mean, I read these books on healing, and breath is really important. Like there's one
Absolutely.
book I love called Quantum Touch, and you do breathing work. So breathing's very important too, to bring you into that stillness, into that healing modality, isn't it? Breathing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, breath, movement, and imagination together. That's energy
Oh, I
work.
like that. Breath, movement,
That's-
imagination.
It's the definition of Qigong. It's energy work, breath, the breathing, the movement, like hand motions, and imagination.
Great. That's a good way to end. Thank you,
That's
ladies.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. So nice talking with you both.
Thank you, Pauline, for doing this.
Oh, thank you. I hope this helps people. I really do.
Love you so much.
Oh, I love you both too. You're wonderful human beings. No, you're wonderful. No, wait, you're wonderful angels. That's what you are. You're angels. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow.
Thank you, folks, for watching another edition of Parapsychology Today, and we'd like your feedback. I've had some interesting people with lots of great topics, and I hope you've enjoyed them. And if you have any suggestions or you'd like to even be on the show yourself, please email us at parapsychologytoday24@gmail.com. Okay, we'll run that again on the credits. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye now. Okay, we're clear. Oh, you guys are great.
That's
Kelly
fun.
might want to say goodbye. Kelly, you want to come and say goodbye to ladies?
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, no, I think she
Oh,
wanted
yes,
to meet
hello.
both of you. I interviewed, you know,
I so appreciate the topic.
aren't these wonderful ladies?
Yes.
Don't I have wonderful people?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, she
You always
made
have.
friends with Robbie Holtz, who wrote Aboriginal Healing, and they connected. And then I had a lady who was in Placerville who did essential oils. I'm just crazy about that now. She cured a
Right.
man with cancer. We saw a picture. He had cancer eating his face off, and he had stage 4, frankincense and myrrh, doTERRA, gone.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Aren't these ladies? We love you.
Love you
You
too.
guys are
Bye.
amazing.
Keep in
Wonderful
touch. Keep in
talks.
touch.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Have the best day ever.
Kelly's, she's woo-woo too. She's ahead of me. Kelly's over my head. Thanks, Jan. Nice seeing you.
Okay, nice seeing you too.
You're
Thank
still-
you
You're still
so
so
much.
pretty. How do you stay so?